we're saying it's called the theos of this age. Okay. If you read Mark 11, it says, Jesus approached the fig tree to see if there were figs on it, and not finding any figs, he cursed the tree, and then it withered. Now, if you do the math, this is Passover week. It's in spring. That means it is during the time where figs will start sprouting, right? It's Passover takes place in the spring. During springtime, things start sprouting. So why did Mark say it wasn't the season of figs? What he means is it's not that it's not the season. It's approaching the time for the figs to start appearing on the fig tree. But it wasn't exactly that time yet, but it was approaching soon. Now, didn't Jesus know it wasn't fig season? Well, he lived in Israel and he would know the seasons like the back of his hand. What many people do not know, and this shows their ignorance, anyone who knows Israelite or what they call Palestinian geography, who's lived in Israel for a period of time, will confirm this. And in the link, I confirm it by quoting two renowned New Testament scholars. Okay. Right around the time of fig season, right when it gets close for the figs to start appearing, to start sprouting on the tree, something appears called taksh, little knobs. Those taksh appear as a sign this fig tree is fruitful and will produce figs. And oftentimes people eat those knobs, those taksh. So the Bible writers, knowing geography, and Jesus, knowing the geography, knew what he was looking for. He was looking for a sign that the fig tree was fruitful and would produce figs at fig season. So he went looking for these knobs called taksh, T-A-Q-S-H, to eat. Not finding those taksh, that was an indication this fig tree is barren, good for nothing, but to be destroyed. Okay, now did you get that? Okay, did everyone get that? See, even Charbel Yusuf said it because you're from that area. Small green knobs that become figs in season. I want to kiss your head. See, he lives in Lebanon, close by.
Wow.
Anyone? Yeah, and here, let me put it there. Anyone who lives in that area knows, here, I live in Lebanon, close enough. And now look what he says. Small green knobs that become figs in season. Absolutely. Jesus would have known. So what was the point of Jesus going to the tree? To find those knobs called taksh. And people eat them. And those knobs indicate this tree is fruitful and will produce figs shortly, because it's right around the season for the figs to appear. Not finding those knobs, taksh, indicates the fig tree is barren and it's good for nothing to be destroyed. But people forget the point. Why did he do that? Because the fig tree is a sign of Israel. Mm-hmm. It's not a coincidence that Jesus is approaching a fig tree right around the time he enters the temple and he overturns the table of the money changers. What's the point? The fig tree is a sign of Jerusalem and the temple. Just like the fig tree shows signs that it is fruitless and barren, so too Jerusalem, the temple, shows every sign that it's spiritually dead and it's barren and has no spiritual fruit. So like the fig tree, Jerusalem and the temple are good for nothing but destruction. It's a played out parable. Now, where do we get that fig trees are a sign of the spiritual health of Jerusalem and the temple? Brother, can you go to Luke 13 and read 6 to 9 for us?
Yep, there we go. Here we go, Luke 13. He also spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. Then he said to the keeper of his vineyard, "Look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it use up the ground?" But he answered and said to him, Sir, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and fertilize it. And if it bears fruit, well, but if not, after that you can cut it down.
Okay, so what do you think he's talking about? The fig tree. What is he referring to? Jerusalem and the temple. I keep coming looking for fruit and I find none, so let's cut it down. But then the person says, let's give it one more year. Let's give it one more chance. After this year, if it bears no figs, then cut it down. He is using the fig tree as an illustration of Jerusalem and the temple. Jerusalem, its inhabitants, and the temple are spiritually barren, good for nothing but to be cut down like the fig tree. That's what Jesus was showing. Now, is that clear?